She had everything: power, money, respect. Yet none of it mattered as she lay weak in the massive bedroom of her glass mansion, surrounded by silence. For months, her body had been betraying her, and no one could explain why. She had flown in the best specialists from around the world, sparing no expense. One after another, doctors in pristine suits and polished shoes entered her world, carrying briefcases filled with charts and theories. 22 of them had come. 22 had failed. Each left her with a polite bow, an apologetic shake of the head, and the same haunting words: "I'm sorry, there's nothing more we can do." For the first time in her life, the billionaire woman who could buy anything felt powerless. And in the silence of her room, she wondered if this was how it would end. But fate has a strange way of sending miracles where we least expect them. One evening, a family friend whispered to her about someone unusual: not a doctor, not a man with degrees covering his walls. He was a single dad, a war veteran, a man who had fought battles no one else could imagine. His name carried no prestige, but his story carried scars of sacrifice, discipline, and a will to fight against the impossible. She laughed bitterly when she first heard it. How could a soldier succeed where 22 of the world's brightest minds had failed? Yet, in her despair, she agreed to see him. When he entered her home, he was nothing like the men who came before. He wore no white coat, no shiny shoes. His hands were rough, his shoulders straight, and his eyes held something no degree could teach: an unshakable calmness, born from carrying the weight of life and death on battlefields far away. At his side was a little girl, no older than 10, holding his hand. He introduced her shyly: "This is my daughter. She goes where I go." The billionaire, weak and weary, raised an eyebrow. But when the girl smiled at her, it was the first time in months her heart felt warmth. The veteran didn't begin with machines or charts. He sat down beside her, looking her in the eye like she was human, not a patient, not a billionaire, not a lost cause. "Tell me everything," he said quietly. She poured out her pain, the sleepless nights, the crushing fatigue, the hidden fears she had never admitted to anyone. He listened, not interrupting, not diagnosing, just listening. When she finished, his daughter squeezed her hand gently, whispering, "My dad always finds a way." For reasons she couldn't explain, the billionaire believed her. Days turned into weeks. His approach was nothing like the sterile methods of the doctors before him. He combined knowledge from his military field training, natural healing techniques he had learned in the harshest conditions, and most of all, he gave her something the others hadn't: hope. He pushed her to fight, not just survive. He walked with her in the garden when she could barely stand, taught her breathing exercises from his days calming soldiers in panic, prepared simple meals that brought strength back to her body, and never once treated her like she was fragile. His daughter often sat by her bedside, reading stories, laughing, bringing life back into a house that had grown silent and cold. It wasn't easy. There were nights of pain so deep she nearly gave up, mornings when she cursed him for pushing her too hard. But unlike the doctors who had given up, he never wavered. He reminded her of the battles he had fought. Not all were won, but the fight itself was worth it. Slowly, something changed. Color returned to her cheeks. Her strength grew. The woman who once couldn't climb out of bed began walking, then running, then laughing again. Against all odds, she came back to life. Word spread quickly. The world's media caught fire with the story: the billionaire who had been given up on by 22 doctors but saved by a single dad veteran. People expected her to thank him with money, with power, with gifts fit for kings. But when she asked him what he wanted, he simply shook his head. "I don't need anything. I just wanted to see you fight again. That's the real miracle." His daughter tugged at his sleeve, whispering, "Daddy already has me." "That's enough." In that moment, the billionaire's eyes filled with tears. For all her billions, she realized she had been poorer than this man and his little girl. He had something she couldn't buy: love, resilience, and faith. And she knew she would never forget it. So if you're watching this right now, ask yourself, what battles are you facing? What have you been told is impossible? Maybe 22 people have told you there's no way. Maybe the world has given up on you. But miracles don't always come from where you expect them. Sometimes they come from the most unlikely hands, from those who have walked through fire and still carry light. Don't give up. Don't stop fighting. And before you go, if this story touched your heart, make sure to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to the channel. Because sometimes, the stories we share can be the very miracles someone else is waiting for.